Man, so I was just in the bank, and I can't help but overhear, the person next to me. They were putting in money into a CD for, 8 months or something like that, and a certificate of deposit. So it's basically a place to safely keep your money. And, I heard the banker was kind of trying to sell it a little bit, just doing his job. And she was like, so what happens if this, what happens if that? She had some questions, and he said something that just made me just cringe. He said, don't worry, the federal government is going to be, paying the interest and making sure that, and once he kind of went through that, I was just like, oh, it just makes me cringe, man. It makes me cringe that, these hardworking people are putting in their money, and they're just dependent on the government to pay these little, it was literally 1.5%. I wanted to yell and scream that, hey, I literally just came from another part of town with the bank that pays like quadruple that, if not more, 4 or 5% interest. Anyways, they were paying 1.5% interest on an 8-month CD. And they, this, older person was just trying to be safe and smart with their money, and trying to get some kind of return on it, because it's just money sitting there. And man, it just made me cringe. And he goes, don't worry. By the way, I got a sucker I'm a sucker for a sucker. He said, don't worry. He's like, no, don't worry, the federal government's gonna be making those payments, so it's don't worry. And it just made me cringe, man, because I feel like the more that we're dependent on government, honestly, the worse off we are with everything the government has their hand in. It's just wild. But yeah, so I guess I just want to make this video as, to myself or to anybody else that, has money and is dependent on the government to build a return on their investment. It just makes me sick. So what the answer to that right now, I believe, is investing in things that you, first of all, that that you just are really good at, that you spend all day doing, and that invest in something that I heard Dave Ramsey say one time, he was like analyzing a financial portfolio, and he asked the owner, he said, if I had to like hold everything that in this bowl, what percentage of it would be real estate? What percentage of it would be investments and stocks and, bonds and all that kind of stuff, the financial markets? And the guy was like, man, I would say 90% of it would be, I know real estate really well. And he said, okay, if you know 90%, then you're not over leveraged in real estate, because if all you have is real estate, then that's all that then that's something that's good. That's something that's healthy, as long as you're, smart and all of that with it. But invest in something that that you spend a lot of time in, that you maybe call yourself an expert in, and invest in those things. We don't need to go buy, as much as I love talking about it, like Dogecoin or like Bitcoin, and just praying and hoping, or even a CD from the government paying you interest. You don't have to depend on these other people to help you make money. There's stuff out there that that other people may not know, that you can invest in. And so for a lot of people, maybe that's some kind of stock, or maybe it's some kind of company. But man, for a lot of people, it could be real estate. It could be investing in your own business. Some people are scared to invest in their own business to get a return. Let's say if I own a business and I invest into some marketing, some Google ads or Facebook ads, or some content or some videos or something like that, that can get a much better return than putting your money in anything else right now. So man, if you own a business, invest into your business and see if you can get a return. I mean, see what kind of return you can get. I've worked for companies that literally 2x their investment in a couple of weeks, 3x their investment, it's wild. So this is like thousands of % of return versus, hoping and praying and putting your money in the stock market, or or a CD, dependent on the government or anything else. In my opinion, there's no reason why anybody should be putting their money in a 1.5% CD return. There's no reason for that. You should never do that. Always invest in what you know. So if you have extra money or extra cash, invest in your business first, what you know, and then if you still have some money left over with some things, I think real estate's a great option, and I think there's some good opportunities in the stock market. If you know that area, or if you know that kind of industry or that kind of business. But there's just no reason you should put your money in a 1.5% interest-bearing account paid by yours truly, the American government. Anyway, my rant over. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks, bye.